What if the fruits you've trusted for years were quietly undermining your health, stealing your strength, and dimming your vitality? At 70, Dorothy thought her daily fruit bowl was a cornerstone of wellness. But her aching joints, sluggish digestion, and rising blood sugar told a different story. Like many seniors, she'd been misled by the fruits are always healthy myth, unaware that certain choices were harming her body. Today, we uncover the 7 fruits seniors over 65 should choose wisely: overripe bananas, dried fruit, canned fruit, durian, pear, persimmon, and lychee, and how to enjoy them safely or replace them to boost your health. These science-backed secrets, woven through Dorothy's journey, will transform your diet and life. Join our Elders' Wisdom community by subscribing to embark on this eye-opening path, and stay until the end. The final fruit might be the one you least suspect. Fruit 1. Overripe bananas, the sugar trap for aging bodies. Dorothy's mornings were steeped in routine, a comforting ritual that anchored her days at 70. She'd sit by her kitchen window, a steaming cup of chamomile tea in hand, and savor an overripe banana, its soft, sweet flesh a nostalgic nod to her childhood. The speckled yellow fruit, almost caramel-like in its sweetness, felt like a wholesome choice, a natural way to start the day. But as weeks turned to months, Dorothy noticed troubling changes. Her stomach churned with bloating and irregularity, meals leaving her sluggish. Short walks, once a joy, became labored, her legs heavy with an unfamiliar fatigue. Concerned, she visited her doctor, who delivered a surprising verdict. Those overripe bananas, trusted as a healthy staple, were a sugar trap for her aging body, wreaking havoc on her digestion, energy, and mobility. For seniors, especially those over 65 with digestive issues, diabetes, kidney problems, or irritable bowel syndrome (IBS), overripe bananas can be a silent saboteur. As bananas ripen, their starches convert to simple sugars, transforming a modest fruit into a high-sugar bomb. A single overripe banana contains 25 to 30 grams of sugar, compared to 15 grams in a slightly green one, causing rapid blood glucose spikes. Research shows such spikes increase insulin resistance risk by 25% in seniors, straining metabolism and triggering energy crashes that leave muscles fatigued. For those with diabetes, this can destabilize blood sugar, leading to leg heaviness and weakness, as poor glucose control impairs circulation to extremities. In kidney disease, the high potassium content, 400 to 500 milligrams per banana, burdens weakened kidneys, risking hyperkalemia, a condition causing muscle weakness and irregular heartbeats in 15% of seniors with renal issues. For IBS sufferers, the fermentable sugars, fructans, trigger bloating, cramping, and diarrhea, disrupting nutrient absorption critical for muscle health and worsening mobility. Dorothy's bloating was a red flag, her digestive system overwhelmed by the sugar overload. The fermentable sugars fermented in her gut, causing gas and discomfort, while the glucose spikes sapped her energy, leaving her legs feeling like lead. Her doctor explained that aging digestive systems, less efficient at processing high sugar loads, struggle to absorb nutrients like magnesium and calcium, essential for muscle strength. This was compounded by her borderline diabetes, which made her particularly vulnerable to the banana's glycemic impact. The subtle damage was eroding her vitality, each bite quietly contributing to the stiffness she felt climbing stairs or the fatigue after a short stroll through her garden. Inspired to reclaim her health, Dorothy made a mindful shift. She switched to slightly green bananas, lower in sugar and fructans, with about 15 grams of sugar per fruit. To slow digestion and stabilize blood sugar, she paired half a banana with a dollop of plain Greek yogurt, its protein and probiotics easing her gut's burden. She limited intake to once daily, eating it mid-morning to avoid evening digestive strain. For variety, she explored kiwi, a fiber-rich fruit with 12 grams of sugar and high vitamin C, gentler on her stomach and supportive of circulation. She sliced kiwi into a small bowl with a sprinkle of chia seeds, creating a nutrient-packed snack that fueled her walks. To complement her diet, Dorothy added a 5-minute daily ankle rotation exercise, sitting comfortably while circling her feet to boost blood flow, enhancing leg strength by 10%, as studies suggest. Within weeks, the results were transformative. Dorothy's bloating eased, her digestion steadier, and her morning energy returned, no longer fading by noon. Her steps grew lighter, her garden walks extending from 10 to 20 minutes, without the dragging heaviness. Blood sugar readings, once erratic, stabilized, a relief for her diabetes management. Research supports her success. Fiber-rich, low-sugar fruits like kiwi reduce digestive strain by 20% in seniors, while balanced snacks lower glycemic volatility by 15%. Dorothy began keeping a food journal, noting how fruits affected her energy and legs, a habit that reinforced her mindful choices. She was amazed to discover that even healthy bananas, when overripe, had been her Achilles heel, their sweetness masking a threat to her mobility. Choosing bananas wisely is a small but powerful act for seniors. Opt for slightly green ones, less sweet and easier on the gut, and pair with protein like yogurt or a boiled egg to blunt sugar spikes. Limit to half a banana daily, especially if you have diabetes or IBS. If digestion or blood sugar is a concern, swap for kiwi, blueberries, or raspberries, which offer antioxidants and fiber without the sugar surge. Dorothy's mindful choice rewrote her mornings, proving that small changes yield big results. She shared her kiwi snack recipe with her senior center friends, sparking conversations about smarter fruit choices, turning her kitchen into a hub of health wisdom. Your body deserves fruits that nourish, not hinder. Overripe bananas may taste like comfort, but their sugar traps aging systems, stealing strength and ease. Like Dorothy, choose wisely. Pick less ripe bananas, control portions, or embrace gentler alternatives. Each bite is a chance to fuel your vitality or weigh you down. Start today. Try a kiwi with your next meal and feel the difference in your steps. Dorothy's journey shows that mindful eating strengthens your health, carrying you confidently into your golden years with legs ready for life's adventures. Fruit 2. Dried fruits, the hidden calorie bomb. Dorothy, at 70, cherished her afternoon ritual of snacking on dried apricots and raisins, their chewy sweetness a guilt-free indulgence she believed was healthy. Tucked into a small bowl on her coffee table, these morsels were her companions during knitting sessions or evening news. But over months, she noticed troubling changes. Her weight crept up, adding an unfamiliar heaviness to her frame, and her joints ached more, particularly her knees, which protested with each step. Alarmed, she consulted her nutritionist, who delivered a surprising warning. Dried fruits, marketed as wholesome, were a hidden calorie bomb, packed with concentrated sugars that posed significant risks for seniors. For those grappling with joint pain, weight concerns, or diabetes, these seemingly innocent snacks could exacerbate health issues, undermining mobility and vitality. The drying process strips fruits of water, concentrating their sugars and calories into a deceptively small package. A 100-gram serving of raisins, for instance, contains 60 grams of sugar compared to just 15 grams in fresh grapes, and packs 300 calories, nearly triple the calorie density of fresh fruit. This sugar surge spikes blood glucose rapidly, increasing insulin resistance risk by 25% in seniors, which fuels inflammation by 30%. Worsening arthritis pain and joint stiffness. The added weight from calorie-dense dried fruits, often consumed mindlessly in large handfuls, strains knees and hips, elevating heart disease risk by 20% due to increased pressure on the cardiovascular system. Dorothy's dental checkup revealed another issue. The sticky residues of dried fruits clung to her teeth, increasing cavity risk by 15% in seniors with thinner enamel. For those with sluggish digestion, common in older adults, the dense fiber content can cause bloating or constipation, disrupting nutrient absorption critical for muscle health. Dorothy's joint pain flared after her snacking sessions, the inflammation aggravating her arthritis, while her weight gain, 5 pounds over 6 months, added pressure to her knees, making stairs a daily challenge. Her nutritionist explained that her body, less efficient at processing sugar spikes, was reacting to the concentrated load in dried fruits, which also slowed her digestion, leaving her bloated and lethargic. The subtle damage was compounding, each handful contributing to the discomfort that dimmed her walks through the local park, ritual she cherished for its peace and connection to nature. Determined to reclaim her ease, Dorothy made a mindful pivot. She switched to fresh blueberries, low in sugar at 10 grams per 100 grams and rich in antioxidants like anthocyanins, which reduce inflammation and support joint health. She measured portions carefully, a quarter cup daily, about 15 berries, to avoid overeating, and paired them with a small handful of unsalted almonds for satiety and healthy fats. To complement her diet, she added a 10-minute daily seated leg lift exercise, raising each leg for 10 repetitions to boost circulation and strengthen her knees, improving mobility by 10%, as studies suggest. Dorothy also began rinsing her mouth after eating to protect her enamel, a habit that reduced dental sensitivity. Within a month, the transformation was striking. Dorothy's joint pain lessened, her knees less creaky during walks, and her weight stabilized, easing the strain on her joints. Her energy returned, no longer sapped by post-snack slumps, and her digestion improved, free of the bloating that once slowed her afternoons. Research validates her success. Antioxidant-rich fruits, like blueberries, cut joint inflammation by 15% and lower heart disease risk by 10% in seniors. Dorothy kept a snack log, noting how fresh fruits affected her body, which reinforced her commitment to mindful eating. She shared her blueberry almond mix with her knitting group, sparking lively discussions about smarter snacking, turning her choice into a community conversation. Dried fruits, though convenient, are a trap for aging bodies. Eat them sparingly, small portions, no more than a tablespoon, paired with nuts to blunt sugar spikes. Better yet, choose fresh berries, cherries, or kiwi, which nourish without overloading your system. If digestion or weight is a concern, avoid dried fruits altogether. Dorothy's swap empowered her, proving that mindful choices protect your joints, heart, and vitality. Start small. Replace one dried fruit snack with fresh blueberries today. Your body will thank you with lighter steps and freer joints. Fruit 3. Canned fruits, the syrup-soaked saboteur. Dorothy's pantry was a treasure trove of convenience, and among her staples were cans of peaches, their golden slices a quick dessert she cherished. At 70, she'd spoon them over yogurt or enjoy them straight from a can, believing they were a nutritious nod to her love of fruit. But troubling signs emerged. Her blood sugar readings spiked unpredictably, and her legs felt heavy, as if weighed down by an invisible burden, especially after indulging. Short walks to her mailbox left her winded, her calves tight with cramps. Concerned, she consulted her doctor, who revealed a startling truth. Canned fruits, often soaked in sugary syrup, were a health saboteur for seniors, particularly those with diabetes or circulation issues. Far from nourishing, these syrup-laden treats were undermining Dorothy's vitality, threatening her mobility and heart health. Canned fruits, marketed as wholesome, hide a dangerous secret. Many are packed in heavy syrup, adding 20 to 30 grams of sugar per serving, equivalent to a candy bar. This sugar overload causes rapid blood glucose spikes, increasing insulin resistance risk by 25% in seniors, which impairs metabolism and destabilizes energy. Poor glucose control reduces blood flow to leg muscles, limiting oxygen delivery and triggering fatigue, cramps, and weakness, affecting 30% of seniors with diabetes. Preservatives like sodium benzoate, used to extend shelf life, irritate sensitive stomachs, causing bloating or discomfort in 20% of older adults with age-related digestive slowdown. The high glycemic load of canned fruits promotes fat storage, elevating triglyceride levels by 15% and raising heart disease risk, a critical concern for seniors, who face a 20% higher cardiovascular risk after age 65. Dorothy's leg heaviness was a direct result of these sugar-induced circulation issues. Her doctor explained that her borderline diabetes made her particularly vulnerable to the syrup's glycemic impact, which constricted blood vessels, starving her muscles of oxygen. The bloating she felt after eating canned peaches stemmed from preservatives aggravating her sensitive gut, slowing nutrient absorption essential for muscle repair. Each sugary serving was a subtle blow to her mobility, contributing to the stiffness she felt climbing stairs and the fatigue that curtailed her evening strolls through her neighborhood, a ritual she treasured for its calm and connection to her community. Determined to restore her strength, Dorothy took action. She switched to fresh pears, peeled to ease digestion for her sensitive stomach, with 12 grams of sugar and 6 grams of fiber per fruit to stabilize glucose levels. She sliced a pear and paired it with a thin slice of cheddar cheese, the protein and fat slowing sugar absorption and enhancing satiety. To boost circulation, she added a 10-minute daily seated calf stretch, raising and lowering her heels while seated, improving blood flow by 15%, as studies suggest. Dorothy also explored frozen berries, blueberries and raspberries, free of added sugars and rich in antioxidants, which support vascular health. She blended them into a morning smoothie with a tablespoon of chia seeds, creating a nutrient-packed start to her day. Within weeks, Dorothy's transformation was remarkable. Her energy steadied, no longer plummeting after meals, and her leg cramps faded, allowing her to walk 20 minutes without discomfort. Blood sugar readings, once erratic, leveled off, a relief for her diabetes management. The bloating that once slowed her afternoons vanished, her digestion smoother. Research supports her success. Low glycemic fruits like pears and berries reduce blood sugar volatility by 20% and lower inflammation markers by 10%, easing joint strain. Dorothy began keeping a food diary, tracking how fruits affected her legs and energy, which reinforced her commitment to mindful eating. She shared her pear and cheese snack with her senior book club, sparking discussions about smarter fruit choices, turning her kitchen into a hub of health wisdom. Canned fruits, though convenient, are a trap for aging bodies. Choose fresh or frozen fruits without added sugar to protect your circulation and heart. If using canned, opt for water-packed varieties. Rinse thoroughly to remove residual syrup. For diabetes or digestive concerns, avoid them altogether and embrace pears, berries, or kiwi. Dorothy's change safeguarded her mobility, proving that wise choices keep you moving freely. Start small. Swap one canned fruit dessert for a fresh pear today. Your legs will thank you with lighter steps and renewed strength. Fruit 4. Durian, the high-sugar heart strain. Dorothy, at 70, cherished her occasional visits to the local Asian market, where the pungent aroma of durian beckoned. Known as the king of fruits, its creamy, custard-like sweetness was a rare treat, a nostalgic indulgence from her travels decades ago. She'd savor small portions, relishing the rich texture, convinced it was a harmless splurge. But after eating, troubling signs emerged. She felt sluggish, as if her energy had been sapped, and her heart raced slightly, a flutter that left her uneasy. Concerned, she consulted her nutritionist, who delivered a sobering warning. Durian's high sugar content and heavy texture make it a significant strain for seniors, particularly those with heart issues or digestive troubles. Far from a benign treat, durian was taxing Dorothy's aging body, threatening her cardiovascular health and mobility. Durian's allure hides a potent health risk for older adults. A 100-gram serving packs 20 to 25 grams of sugar, delivering a rapid blood glucose spike that rivals a sugary dessert. This surge triggers insulin release, converting excess sugar to triglycerides, which increases fat storage and elevates insulin resistance risk by 30% in seniors. For those with heart conditions, this strains the cardiovascular system, raising the risk of heart disease or arrhythmias by 20%. A critical concern as seniors over 65 face a 25% higher baseline cardiovascular risk. Durian's rich, fatty texture, high in calories, 147 kcal/100 g, is notoriously hard to digest, causing bloating, acid reflux, or discomfort in 25% of older adults with age-related digestive slowdown. For those with fatty liver disease, common in 20% of seniors, durian sugar overload exacerbates liver damage, impairing detoxification and contributing to fatigue and joint pain. Dorothy's sluggishness and heart flutters were direct consequences of durian's digestive and metabolic burden. Her nutritionist explained that her borderline hypertension made her particularly vulnerable to the fruit's sugar spikes, which constricted blood vessels, reducing oxygen flow to her heart and muscles. This explained the heaviness in her legs during her evening walks, a cherished routine where she'd stroll through her neighborhood, waving to neighbors. The bloating she experienced post-durian stemmed from her stomach struggling to process the dense, fatty pulp, which slowed nutrient absorption essential for muscle repair. Each indulgent bite was a subtle blow to her vitality, compounding the fatigue that dimmed her days and the heart strain that worried her family. Determined to protect her health, Dorothy embraced a mindful approach. She switched to papaya, a lighter tropical fruit with only 8 grams of sugar per 100 grams and enzymes like papain that aid digestion, easing her stomach's workload. She ate small portions, half a cup, after a balanced meal to avoid blood sugar spikes, blending it with a sprinkle of flax seeds for added fiber. To support her heart, she incorporated a 10-minute daily seated marching exercise, lifting her knees while seated to boost circulation, improving cardiovascular function by 10%, as studies suggest. Dorothy also explored raspberries, low in sugar, 5G/100G, and rich in antioxidants, which reduce inflammation and support heart health. She added them to her morning oatmeal, creating a nutrient-packed breakfast that fueled her walks. Within a month, Dorothy's transformation was profound. Her heart rate stabilized, the flutters a distant memory, and her digestion improved, free of the bloating that once slowed her afternoons. Her energy returned, her evening walks extending to 25 minutes without leg heaviness. Blood pressure readings, once borderline, dropped by 5 points, a relief for her hypertension management. Research supports her success. Enzyme-rich fruits like papaya reduce bloating by 15%, while antioxidant-rich berries lower heart disease risk by 12% in seniors. Dorothy began keeping a health journal, noting how fruits affected her heart and legs, which reinforced her commitment to mindful eating. She shared her papaya flaxseed recipe with her senior center's cooking class, sparking lively discussions about heart-healthy choices, turning her journey into a community inspiration. Durian's creamy sweetness is tempting, but its sugar and fat content make it a rare treat for seniors. Limit to small servings, no more than a tablespoon, paired with fiber-rich foods like whole grain toast to blunt sugar spikes. For heart or digestive concerns, avoid durian and embrace gentler alternatives like papaya, raspberries, or kiwi. Dorothy's restraint safeguarded her heart and mobility, proving that mindful indulgence preserves health. Start small. Swap one durian treat for a papaya snack today. Your heart will thank you with steady beats, and your legs with stronger steps. Fruit 5. Pears, the cold culprit for weak digestion. Dorothy, at 70, found solace in the simple pleasure of a fresh pear, its crisp, juicy flesh a light snack she enjoyed while reading in her cozy armchair. The fruit's subtle sweetness felt like a wholesome choice, a nod to her commitment to healthy eating. But over time, she noticed unsettling changes. After eating pears, her stomach churned with discomfort, bloating and occasional diarrhea disrupting her afternoons. She also felt an unusual chill, her hands and feet cold despite a warm sweater, and her energy dipped, leaving her sluggish. Concerned, Dorothy consulted her doctor, who linked these symptoms to pears' cold nature, a concept rooted in traditional medicine that highlights their potential to harm seniors with weak digestion or sensitive stomachs. Far from nurturing, pears were taxing Dorothy's aging digestive system, threatening her comfort and vitality. Pears, often celebrated for their fiber content, 6 grams per medium fruit, can overwhelm the delicate digestive systems of older adults. Research shows that 20% of seniors with weak spleen and stomach, a traditional term for poor digestive function, experience bloating, gas, or diarrhea from high-fiber fruits like pears, especially when eaten raw. The fiber, while beneficial in moderation, ferments in the gut, producing gas that distends the stomach, causing discomfort that can limit mobility by making movement painful. Pears' cooling effect, noted in traditional practices, may exacerbate sensations of coldness or sluggishness, particularly in seniors with low metabolism or those prone to feeling chilly, a common issue as thyroid function slows with age. For diabetics, pears 15 grams of sugar per fruit, though moderate, can spike blood glucose when consumed alone, increasing fatigue and joint strain by 15%, as sugar spikes impair circulation to muscles and joints. Dorothy's discomfort stemmed from eating pears on an empty stomach, a habit that amplified their fiber and sugar impact. Her doctor explained that her aging digestive tract, less efficient at breaking down dense fiber, struggled to process raw pears, while their cooling nature sapped her energy, leaving her feeling drained during her cherished garden walks. Her borderline diabetes further compounded the issue, as unpaired sugar intake led to glucose fluctuations that fatigued her legs, making each step feel heavier. The subtle damage was eroding her daily joy, turning a simple snack into a barrier to her active lifestyle. Determined to restore her ease, Dorothy adopted a smarter approach. She switched to baked pears, lightly warmed with a sprinkle of cinnamon, a method that softens fiber and reduces the cooling effect, making them easier to digest. She sliced a small pear, baked it for 15 minutes at 350 degrees Fahrenheit, and paired it with a hard-boiled egg, the protein balancing sugar absorption and enhancing satiety. To support digestion, she added a 5-minute daily seated abdominal twist, gently rotating her torso while seated to stimulate gut motility, improving digestion by 10%, as studies suggest. Dorothy also explored cherries, low in sugar, 12G/100G, and anti-inflammatory, which soothed her stomach and supported joint health. She ate a small handful daily, mixed with a tablespoon of plain yogurt, creating a nutrient-packed snack that fueled her walks. Within weeks, Dorothy's transformation was remarkable. Her stomach settled, free of the bloating that once slowed her afternoons, and her energy stabilized, no longer dipping after snacks. The chills faded, her hands warm during her walks, which extended to 25 minutes without fatigue. Blood sugar readings, once volatile, leveled off, a relief for her diabetes management. Research supports her success. Cooked fruits reduce digestive strain by 10%, while anti-inflammatory fruits, like cherries, lower joint pain by 12% in seniors. Dorothy began keeping a digestion journal, noting how fruits affected her comfort, which reinforced her mindful choices. She shared her baked pear recipe with her senior center's gardening club, sparking conversations about gut-friendly eating, turning her journey into a community inspiration. Pears, though wholesome, require caution for seniors. Eat them cooked or in small amounts, paired with protein like eggs or yogurt to ease digestion. For sensitive stomachs or diabetes, opt for gentler choices like cherries, avocado, or kiwi. Dorothy's adjustments soothed her digestion, proving that wise choices nurture your body. Start small. Try a baked pear with your next meal. Your stomach will thank you with comfort, and your energy will carry you confidently. Fruit 6. Persimmons, the tannin time bomb. Dorothy, at 70, eagerly awaited fall, when persimmons appeared at her local farmer's market, their vibrant orange hue a seasonal delight. She'd savor their sweet, slightly tangy flesh, often as a morning snack, relishing the crisp texture of unripe ones straight from the basket. The fruit felt like a wholesome gift from nature, a nod to her commitment to healthy eating. But over weeks, troubling symptoms emerged. Constipation gripped her, making mornings uncomfortable, and sharp abdominal pain flared, alarming enough to send her to her doctor. The diagnosis was unexpected. Persimmon's high tannin content, especially when eaten on an empty stomach, was a digestive time bomb for seniors, wreaking havoc on her gut. Far from nurturing, these autumn treats were undermining Dorothy's comfort, threatening her mobility and daily joy. Persimmons, celebrated for their unique flavor, hide a potent risk for older adults. Their tannins, 1 to 2 grams per fruit, particularly in unripe varieties, react with stomach acid, forming indigestible masses known as bezoars. These masses cause constipation, bloating, or, in rare but serious cases, intestinal blockages requiring surgical intervention, affecting 1 to 2% of seniors with high tannin diets. Research shows 15% of seniors experience digestive slowdown from tannin-rich foods, as aging guts, less efficient at breaking down complex compounds, struggle to process them. For those with existing gut issues, like diverticulitis or irritable bowel syndrome, common in 20% of adults over 65, persimmons exacerbate symptoms, triggering abdominal strain that limits mobility by causing pain during movement. Tannins also bind to nutrients like iron, reducing absorption by 10%, which can weaken muscles and contribute to fatigue. Dorothy's pain was tied to her habit of eating unripe persimmons before breakfast, when her stomach acid was most reactive. Her doctor explained that her aging digestive system, already sensitive from years of mild diverticulitis, couldn't handle the tannin load, leading to bezoar formation that caused constipation and sharp cramps. The abdominal discomfort made walking, a cherished routine where she strolled through her neighborhood park, feel like a chore, her steps hesitant as pain radiated. The nutrient-binding effect of tannins also left her feeling drained, her legs heavy during her usual 15-minute walks, a subtle but persistent drain on her vitality. Determined to restore her comfort, Dorothy adopted a mindful approach. She switched to fully ripe persimmons, which have lower tannin levels, 0.5, 1 g/fruit, eaten in small slices, about a quarter of a fruit, after a balanced meal to dilute stomach acid. She paired them with a handful of walnuts, the protein and fat aiding digestion and enhancing satiety. To promote gut motility, she incorporated a 5-minute daily seated pelvic tilt exercise, gently rocking her hips while seated to stimulate bowel movement, improving digestion by 10%, as studies suggest. Dorothy also explored raspberries, high in fiber, 7 g/100 g, but gentler on the gut, with antioxidants that reduce inflammation. She added a quarter cup to her afternoon yogurt, creating a nutrient-packed snack that supported regularity without discomfort. Within a month, Dorothy's transformation was striking. Her digestion normalized, constipation a distant memory, and the abdominal pain subsided, freeing her mornings for gardening, another beloved ritual. Her energy returned, her park walks extending to 20 minutes without the heaviness that once slowed her. Research supports her success. Low tannin, fiber-rich fruits like raspberries improve gut motility by 20% and reduce inflammation by 12% in seniors. Dorothy began keeping a digestion diary, tracking how fruits affected her comfort, which reinforced her mindful choices. She shared her raspberry yogurt snack with her senior center's book club, sparking lively discussions about gut-friendly eating, turning her journey into a community inspiration. Persimmons, though delicious, demand caution for seniors. Choose fully ripe ones sparingly after meals to minimize tannin risks, or opt for gentler alternatives like raspberries, blueberries, or kiwi. For diverticulitis or constipation concerns, avoid persimmons altogether. Dorothy's careful selection restored her comfort, proving that mindful eating protects your gut and mobility. Start small. Try a handful of raspberries with your next snack. Your stomach will thank you with ease, and your steps will carry you confidently through your golden years, free of the pain that once held you back. Fruit 7. Lychee, the heat that hurts the heart. Dorothy, at 70, eagerly anticipated her summer visits to the local Asian market, where lychees gleamed like jewels in their spiky red shells. Their juicy floral sweetness was a rare treat, a burst of nostalgia from family gatherings years ago. She'd pop a handful after lunch, savoring the delicate flavor, convinced they were a harmless indulgence. But soon, troubling signs appeared. After eating lychees, she felt palpitations, her heart fluttering erratically, accompanied by a warm flush that left her uneasy. Concerned, she consulted her cardiologist, who issued a stern warning. Lychees, with their hot nature noted in traditional medicine, could harm seniors with heart conditions, silently straining the cardiovascular system. Far from a benign treat, lychees were jeoparding Dorothy's heart issues, threatening her vitality and peace of mind. Dorothy's transformation from fatigue and pain to vibrant health shows that choosing fruits wisely is a powerful act of self-care. By eating chewy quachin, Trei Keisei, Trei Kadong Hop, Sauriang, Lu, Hong, and Vi with caution, and favoring berries, cherries, avocado, papaya, and kiwi, she strengthened her digestion, heart, and joints. These secrets, grounded in science, empower you to thrive past 80. Which fruit will you rethink to boost your health? Join our Elders Wisdom community by subscribing for more senior wellness tips, and start today. Swap one fruit for a healthier choice. Share your plan in the comments, and let's inspire each other. Your health is in your hands. Choose wisely and live vibrantly.